RealStream News is a YouTuber, and honestly, not a good one.
RealStream News.
He's trying hard to be some type of live streaming news source.
Because he's a baby bitch boy.
Why do you even want to leak it, you idiot? Why?
You know, she's upset about it.
I said no.
You know who's a real piece of shit? You.
I said no twice.
Do you guys want to see the things that people sent me?
This is turning into a thing real fast.
Releasing fucking, tit pics, pussy pics. No, I'm not worrying about being exposed. I'm worried about fucking going to jail, you fucking idiot. You are a fucking disgusting human being. You really fucking are.
This is not the video that I had intended to make. In fact, I never intended to make this video at all back when I started this RSN series. I made my first two videos, and in those videos I said these are my final two videos on this subject. But things changed. And no, I'm not talking about things changing because RSN went on and had numerous other scandals, whether that be certain court drama with money involved, or whether that's to do with inappropriate merchandise or anything else like that. Those are not the things I'm going to be talking about in this video. The reason I'm making this video, the reason I'm making part 3, is because you may remember back in part 1 and part 2, and if you've not watched those parts, I do recommend watching those to get context before you go any further into this video. I will link them down below. But in part 2 of my series, the previous video before this one, I tried to get an interview with RSN, I tried to get an interview with some associates of his, I tried to get an interview with someone who would give his side. The only person I was given was Minty Oreos, who seemed to not really know very much about what was going on and all the drama. She didn't really want to talk about it. So the interview itself, it was kind of pointless. But unfortunately, RSN would not allow me to speak to anyone else in his community. I reached out to numerous people. Heaven Sent, Holly Undead, to name a couple. And RSN said, no, you're not allowed to speak to him. So that really annoyed me because I wanted to make my video as unbiased as possible. I wanted to have someone tell his side, someone speak for him. But he wouldn't let me. Until now. And that's why I'm making this video, because RSN finally agreed to sit down with me and do a proper interview. Now, in the past, I have done live streams with RSN. I've done many of them. I've covered that extensively in previous videos that I have made. But I've never done an actual interview with a guy. I've never sat down and asked him question after question in a serious setting to get his answers. And that's exactly what I have done for this video. Now, I want to make it clear. The only questions I've asked him are questions that are relevant to the two-part series I made. I asked him questions about pretty much every single subject I covered in both part 1 and part 2 of my RSN story series. If I didn't cover it in those two videos, then I didn't ask him a question about it. And that's also why I'm not introducing new scandals, new information in this video. I'm not going to be talking about his more recent dramas and scandals and whatever else. I'm not talking about any of the recent stuff. I'm talking about the stuff that I covered in my previous videos, because I want to make it very clear that I'm asking him about those things. So now I present to you my interview with RealStream News. Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question before we start though? Like, do you actually believe that I'm guilty of something? Like, do you believe that I should be in jail? Is that what you think? I believe that we'll get to it with the questions I'm about to ask, but I certainly believe there are a lot of very, very concerning behaviors you have partaken in, and perhaps I don't know if I'm rightfully allowed to say you should be in jail or not. I believe that is in the hands of the law to decide. If they don't think you should be in jail, then they don't think you should be in jail. If they do, then you should. That's not for me to decide. What I do think is that your past has a lot of reprehensible actions. I believe that the things you have done, or that I say you have, I think you've done, maybe I'm entirely wrong, but the things I think you have done, and I think I have evidence of you doing, I believe that those things are completely morally reprehensible and that they have harmed many people. So in that aspect, I do believe that law enforcement should at least be involved.
Okay, so go ahead, ask me the questions that
Okay.
you think you want to ask.
So this is the last time I'm ever going to ask you about the Amber thing. I have a bunch of questions here. So the first one is, in your own words, what is your explanation? Why did Amber visit you? What was the reason for that?
Well, like I said, people weren't there for that, but we spoke about it. Is she, I interviewed her, at the time, when I interviewed her, my channel, I think had somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000, I think, and then my channel got erased. But so I interviewed her about Onision. So a lot of people are under the impression that she was a fan. First of all, she wasn't, and or that she was coming there to do an Onision interview, and that was already scratched off the list. It's kind of pointless to do. You know what I mean? Why would I do that again? I had to come out there because A, I was interested in her, personally, and B, I was interested in streaming IRL. So, I mean, that's why all the streams, out in public, that's why she was up, and we streamed every day in public and everything like that. That's that was the point, is to do a little IRL stream. It was supposed to just stream the experience, and, I thought I clicked with her, and that was the reasoning. It wasn't under the guise of a new Onision interview or whatever. It was, the stream and do an IRL thing. I thought I would have her under the RSN umbrella, and that was the thought process.
So would you say it's fair to say that she was out there for two reasons? One was to work with you, and the other was to potentially hook up.
I mean, I wouldn't really consider it too much work. I'm going to be real, because there wasn't an aspect. There was never a thought in our heads that there was going to be money made off this. You know what I mean? No.
Then what I would ask there is, why did you have her sign a contract?
Well, because of the future prospects. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That if it did go well,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And if it was kind of like a test experience to feel each other out, pretty much. You know what I mean? In person, which obviously didn't go well. Obviously,
So it was basically it was just for a bit of fun, and if it went somewhere, you were just being safe by having her sign a contract.
I mean, yeah, if she was interested in doing it, because that's what she kept saying. She was down to stream, and she wanted to stream, and that's what she was saying. I mean, we even talked about getting her a SIM card when she traveled to the next country. I think she was saying France or whatever. I think she was going there for a meetup, or she was traveling out of the country. I know that, but we talked about getting SIM cards and everything like that. That was part of the thought process,
Okay.
Like I said, embarrassing to say now, I did like her. I liked her.
Okay, so you say you liked her. Amber claims, and there is some clips of her saying, that she made her lack of interest in you quite apparent. She never reciprocated any of those sort of feelings. And is that true?
No.
Do you disagree with that?
No, like I said, we talked about BDSM and pet play and everything like that, which actually I never knew what pet play was until I spoke with her about that. And I kind of thought it was strange, because she made it a misleading thing. She kind of, do you know what pet play is or no? Are you aware of what that is?
I'm aware.
I had no idea what that was until she explained that to me. I had never heard of it. So, I mean, that right there can give you some sort of, insight to what I mean. I never, we talked about, BDSM and stuff like that, and what she was interested in, and, what she would want to try when she got out, and what she wanted to show me and shit, stuff like that,
Do you think it's possible that with having those conversations about BDSM or pet play, that she was just trying to build trust in a friendship rather than some sort of relationship?
No. I think looking back on it, what I think, if you want it, my real, what I really think happened, and, I think what happened is I don't think it was for clout. I don't think that's what it was for. I think what she came there for is under, I think she's very much interested in Onision. And, at the time I covered Onision to death. And, I was very, very much, I wasn't at the place that I am now where I'm like kind of in the middle. Back then it was very much negative Onision. Everything was negative Onision. Onision, it was a piece of shit. So that was it. So I think when she, after she sent Kai, Ladybot and him nudes, and that was kicked out of the community, I mean, that was the whole reason that we even got met in the first place, is because of that. She, she showed me the email where Onision kicked her out of the community and everything like that, and kicked her out of the Discord, the Patreon, all that shit. And I mean, even then, she didn't really seem fazed by it. She was just like, and Onision was weirded out by her. I mean, have you seen the email that he originally sent?
I have seen that email, yes.
I mean, he was clearly off. He was off. Something about her was off-putting. I mean, I think it was because she threatened suicide one day outside and tried to drag Titanic Sinclair and him into it, and I think that's what really put him off, And then the nude pictures, he was like, all right, I'm moving away from this, but. Yeah, so I think after that happened, and so she was kicked out of the community, she was like, oh, I know how to get back in the community. I'm just gonna, fuck over RealStream News, and Greg will take me back, and then it'll be this thing. And she wasn't wrong. Greg did. He made a video about her, and he did have her back for a while, anyways. And then I don't know if you remember this, but he kicked her out again, and then made it seem like she was a liar. Did you watch that?
I did watch that. I remember that. Anyway, we're getting a bit sidetracked.
Well, it's not too sidetracked. It's really what happened. I mean, that's what happened.
Well, Onision is who Onision is. Onision's very reactionary for things like that. I don't think it says very much. I mean, I'm going to get on a little bit more to Amber.
I know we're going to go on and on. I'm just saying he went back and forth with her. I'm just saying I think ultimately the reason why she did that was that. Okay. I mean, when she was up, she used to say, people in the chat asked, oh, who do you think is better, Onision or CJ?
Yeah, I remember that.
What, 2 years ago? And she would be like, oh, Onision, and this is already after he threw her out of the community for sending nudes to him. Anyways, that's what I mean. I think that was the whole reason she did what she did. But,
okay. Yeah. Well, Amber is someone who is very obviously, they're drawn to fame, they're drawn to money, they're drawn to YouTubers, celebrities. I would say that also, even though you were a very small YouTuber, I would say to an extent that also includes yourself. Anyone with an audience. That's probably why she came to you in the first place, as you said, to do the Onision interview. She liked the idea of getting the attention from that. Surely, what happened then should have been a big no-no because of that?
I think she liked being viewed by Onision after being kicked out. I don't think she liked the attention from the people actually watching. That's the thing. And hindsight's 20/20. You know what I mean? But that's just how it felt like to me. It's the whole situation. It was like trying to get Greg to notice her. I mean, like I said the other day when we spoke, it's like. When I saw her in person, she had her phone was filled with old videos of Onision, YouNow, a lot of deleted YouNow streams, some stuff she even was trying to show me, trying to impress me to.
Did you think all of this back at the time, or is this something you only think now?
No. I never. This is something that I didn't know. This is stuff that, looking back, it makes sense, and I didn't think about it until I started to realize what was happening by the probably I'd say the third or the last day, and that was the scary part. And I was just like, wow, this is fucking crazy, because she was arguing and saying she wanted to tell people we hooked up and everything. She wanted to tell people that, and I was just like, wait a minute, why? Because she was just pretty much saying she was going to say it whether I liked it or not, and I was just it's kind of fucked up. It should be a joint thing, and I was like, it should be a private thing. And I think she said we're trying to allude why are you acting we can't tell you, what are you embarrassed, and then she said why you just sleep with me or something like that. And I was like, it should be no one's business but ours. But I don't know if you've heard that recording or not, but she's just I remember this one time she said that, and this was actually maybe I don't think it was like an hour before we went on that last stream together. But yeah, she's like, you know, why did you sleep with me then? You know, like, I don't know. It was crazy. And I recorded her threatening me with, like, you know, the false allegations if I pissed her off. I think it was literally the second day after. It was actually right after you guys did an interview with each other. And remember you asked her if she was safe and everything, and she said yes. And yeah, and the blog was in the chat.
Looking at Amber's social media and also speaking with her, it's very clear, no offense to Amber, that she has a lot of issues and she's not the brightest person either. So my question is, surely you recognized that back at the time, and knowing that, don't you think it's understandable that people would then question your intentions there?
It was actually very quick. Like we only knew each other probably about, like, I would say 3 months before, like, you know, like by the, actually no, I think it was like 3 months by the time like we knew each other, like we already met. So it was a quick thing. I never did like a deep dive into her.
Sure, but
shit
you
like
don't need
that.
to do a deep dive to realize that the girl has issues. I mean, you can scroll down her Twitter and immediately see her obsessive behavior with celebrities and stuff.
I never even looked at the Twitter. I didn't even look at her Twitter at the time. You know what I mean? I didn't even look.
So you were flying this girl out to you who you had never even looked into.
Well, I figured, you know, we talked on the phone and everything like that. We talked on the phone every other night, so I wasn't too concerned about her Twitter. Like, I wish I did. Like, looking back, I wish I did.
And you never got any sort of feeling speaking to her that, okay, maybe this girl's vulnerable, maybe this girl's this, maybe I should stay clear. You never got anything like that.
I never got that vibe. The only thing that I was a little like you gotta remember, right? This is the beginning of like my YouTube channel, and I never even really dealt with, like, you know, like, quote unquote leeches or anybody who you know would have the thoughts of like fucking you over in your head, which, you know, that's like a, you know, learn as you go type thing. And I the thought of somebody trying to fuck me over or try to ruin my life under, like, for these reasons never crossed my mind. It really never did, and I was really naive back then.
Okay, well, a bit related to that. At the time she was there, we already mentioned you had her sign a contract. So technically, let's say you're the owner of your little company, and you've made her sign a contract for work. You've made her sign an NDA. Okay, now you say that's just for safety, you don't actually think it's going to go anywhere, but it's just for in the future if things blow up. But regardless of that, based on that, you're essentially now her employer. Why on earth did you then think it would be okay to sleep with someone who is essentially now your employee?
Are you really, like, trying to, like, make it seem like it was that? Well, first of all, like, we were gonna, like, talk about possibly streaming together. This isn't like an office job or whatever. This is like, you know, hanging out and streaming and shit. That was the goal, was to hang out, stream, and go out and do whatever we were doing on live stream. And like, we were kind of, I don't know, like, what I looked at it as, like, we're gonna feel each other out and see how it worked out. I mean, you know, because she mentioned the BDSM stuff to me and everything like that, and the pet play, I don't know, I didn't think it was a big deal. And again, I was a very, very small channel. I think that channel I was streaming off of, there was literally, like, I think I only had like 1,500 subs. She had like literally the same amount as me at that time. So it's not like I was like picking out some, again, fan. You know what I'm saying? She literally, you could, like, I know she doesn't upload like regularly anymore, but like, she was going live on her. She was going live on her shit all the time on Twitter, and like, she would always complain that people wouldn't talk enough, but she would have viewers and shit. Look, I get what you're trying to say there, but it's like the same lines as like meeting up with another creator. That's just how I saw it, you know. I don't know why other people did it. It's just like other people saying she was like literally like underage. I keep hearing people say that. Like, that's not true. I've seen people lie and say she was like 15. Like, there's been some crazy shit.
Anyone saying that is completely out of line. That's not true. She wasn't 15 or anything like that. But I do think, I get what you're saying with, it's like meeting up with another creator and all that sort of thing. That's not a big deal. My concern is more that you had her sign a contract and an NDA that same day, and then what happened happened. I think that's a little bit more concerning, but...
Well, actually, the contract, it was just a contract, and the NDA was in the contract. It wasn't like,
Okay.
it wasn't like this thing to do that. It was just to be careful as far as, like, if we're gonna, like, have something go on, like, with the public. I was, like, thinking in my head, like, if we're gonna be working together and everything like that, like, I want it to be, like, a joint decision to talk about something, like, which is, ultimately, I was right, because, I don't know, she was, I don't know, I don't know, I wish I trusted my gut more with this situation and felt her out more.
Okay, well, we just have a few more questions about this situation. So the next one is about the hotel specifically. So I've had a lot of people wonder, why did you feel the need to share a hotel room when you live locally? Surely there could have been a basic level of professionalism if you were going to be working together in some capacity. I think you've kind of answered that by saying you weren't really working together, you were just doing a little bit back and forth.
It was like feeling each other out. It was just like a casual, like, IRL thing. Like I think people like take that, like, her signing that as, like, as a work thing. That's not what it was. It was just like we're gonna be streaming together, and if I'm gonna have you under, like, the RSN thing, I mean, it only makes sense, and that's just like. So, like, the only reason I did that is so that if something, like, say, by some stroke of randomness, you know what I mean? Like imagine, like, we blow up, you know, then all of a sudden, then there's at least some way for us to make money off this together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was it. I mean, it was never even, like, remotely even, like, an actual possibility, but it was, like, that was it. That was the only thought. That's it. You know?
Okay, well, I think we're going to have to agree to disagree there. We'll leave that to others to decide. But the next thing is, Amber says in the live stream that you did together that she purposely ignored her advances towards, your advances towards her online because she didn't want to turn you down and then not be able to work with you. What is your response to that? Do you think that's true?
What? She could have easily just not have flown out then, right?
Well, she says she wanted to work with you, but she didn't want to make it clear
she didn't have to
like
work with you. That's the beauty of the internet. You don't actually have to meet me in person to work with me, especially when we already did an interview not in person. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, obviously she thought it was in her best interest to fly out to you. She thought maybe there was money involved.
That's the thing. She didn't have to.
Sure, she didn't have to, but she did.
She already knew that because we already did do that. You know what I mean? That argument doesn't really make much sense.
Okay.
Like, I get it if there was no interview, or if you'd be like, oh, this is your only way. But we already did an interview. Like I said, the whole point wasn't to talk about Onision, and that's not what it was. You know, if that was the case, that would have been what we talked about, like, immediately. It would have been like, all right, let's sit down, let's talk about Onision. That's not what it was. So do you want to ask me about something else, too?
We've got 3 last questions about this, and then there's a few about other situations. So, do you think it was wrong that you had sex with her after she had been drinking? I'm not asking you if it was rape, I'm just thinking, do you think it was wrong that she was drinking, you hadn't been drinking, and then you had sex?
Okay, so I need you guys to, I need people to know, like, first of all, like, I'm in recovery, right? And even if I was in recovery, I don't drink anyways. Like, I just, that's not really my thing. But, like, and it's just, so I wouldn't have drank regardless. So, like, it's just, I just wouldn't have done it. But that's why I didn't drink. And so she drank, and then once we hooked up, I think it was like, she did, like, I think she said she took 1 shot on stream. That's what she said, but I saw that there was 3 bottles in that hotel. So I don't know what she drank, but that's what she says she drank was 1, because we have that on stream where she said that. So I don't think she actually was either, regardless of what she drank, which would be between 1 and 3. You know, because like I said, she admitted, she said, oh, I only drank 1. It wasn't even a big deal, you know, until conveniently it was a big deal when she wanted to try to, you know, make it a big deal. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why I didn't drink is because I don't drink. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just it. I'm in recovery. And so, like, stuff like that can put me into relapse, or it can make me want to relapse. Like, that's why I don't do that. And like you saw, I've had a pretty public relapse like about almost 9 months ago at this point, and it takes me a while to come back from this stuff when I do, so it sucks. And that's why I don't attempt it with this stuff like that. I try to not even drink cough syrup. I try not to do these types of things because it can put me in a place where I'd want to relapse, and that's not where I'm trying to go with my life. But yeah, I don't know. That situation, it sucked to see her lie like that when she literally already admitted on stream. So like my point is, like, I remember she tried to say that to the police. They saw the footage and then they asked her why she would say that and why she's lying. A lot of the things that happened there was very problematic for them. You know what I mean? And again, that's another thing that people keep dismissing or they're not aware of, is that the police were heavily involved in the situation, as far as like, you know, subpoenaing old videos, getting them back up. Like this was like, she was up for like 5 days, you know, we streamed every single day, and that's what happened. It's like they only hooked up the first day. I think it was like she drank and then we hooked up like 8 hours after. So even if she did, like, if she like let's say the made up thing that she said, like the only thing she could have drank was 3, even if that's possible, that would be out of her system like that long after. You know what I mean? Like how long does alcohol usually affect you for?
Well, I mean, it's different for everyone, but I mean, she was drinking the same night as you had sex, so I would think it would still be in her system at that point.
Actually, no, she wasn't drinking. Well, I mean, like, well, we had sex actually, like, very, like, early in the morning. It was, like, closer to, like, 6, I think.
There are people who would say that you should never have sex with a woman if she has had any alcohol. It doesn't matter how much it is, and that if she's had any, then that is not consent. What would you say to that?
So you're saying that if anybody drinks any alcohol, you shouldn't, like, have sex?
Well, that is.
Do you believe that? Do you think that?
I think it depends on the relationship, the situation.
I think context kind of matters. I
well,
mean,
so do I. Like, for example, I think that if you've just met someone, you've never had sex with them before, then yeah, if they've been drinking, don't have sex with them. If you've been married for 5 years and you have sex every other day, and then suddenly you've both had a little bit to drink, you're a little bit tipsy, then maybe that's a bit different. Okay. You're going to be okay.
Say the amount of alcohol probably matters too, you know, like if there's like this, that's what I mean by context. I think the amount, you know, is kind of relevant.
But the amount can vary person to person. Like some people will get drunk on 1 or 2 shots and be pissed out their head. My grandmother's like that. They have like 1 shot and that's them. They want to go for a lie down and fall asleep. There's other people who'll take 10 shots and they're still going. I mean, everyone's different.
And then like 8 hours after they're not, and that was frustrating. Like, I'm gonna be real, like she really, like, she said 2 things. She said this like live. She's like, oh, I told you I was only into girls. Like bro, wow, that was a rough thing to hear. You know, like she said, like she only had this much, or that she had this much to drink when she switched that up. Like when she was on the bus, if you look back on that, like I'm sure you could find it if you really wanted to. She said she only had 1 shot, you know, which, like I said, I know there was, like, for sure, I know that there was 3 there in that room, you know, but I, you know, and she said that she was only into girls, and when we were around that girl Amanda, she was trying to like finesse like a threesome between myself and that girl Amanda. But
so you're saying that she wanted to have a threesome with you and Amanda? 100%. You're saying that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the final 2 questions so we can get past this Amber thing. I'm sure you've fed up talking about it. So
yeah, I really am. Yeah, it's probably gonna be
final 2 questions on it. So we've already spoken about how a lot of people see that you were kind of her employer to an extent because you had her sign a contract. You might disagree with that, whatever. But don't you think that, to an extent, you put your business at risk there by supplying someone who was a minor with alcohol? It doesn't matter that she was almost 21, because do you understand the legal and moral ramifications of supplying alcohol to a technical employee who was also a minor and almost a decade your junior? Do you think that was a stupid move?
The alcohol was already there, right? And birthday weekend that weekend. Can you honestly tell me that you never drank before you were like when you were like 21 or like just turning 21 that year?
Well, yeah, I did. I drank. I drank a long time before I turned the legal age to drink. That's not what I'm asking. There's a difference between someone doing that or someone supplying them with the alcohol.
I understand, and I'm kind of curious that you're like asking that when you know that that's not the thing that's
well, in
really,
the eyes of the law, that is illegal.
In the eyes of the law, it was already resolved. You know this, right? Like, come on. And that's another thing too, is that like this was already resolved. You know, it was, and people can keep saying that it's open or whatever. It's not. I've spoken to them again recently, right after people like tried to get like Chris Hansen and Vincent to look into it, and and they laughed. They're like, how is this still going on? Like, how?
Anyway, final question on Amber. In a Discord call after the alleged event took place, you admitted that you felt what happened between you and Amber was wrong to an extent. Do you still stand by that statement?
What I think was the situation, I wish I paid more attention to it, and I wish I realized what people were willing to do. And I gotta be honest, it sucks, man. Right after that situation happened, a lot of people were coming at me, trying to make me feel bad for something when I knew I was the person who got fucked over. And I knew, and I it was really shitty. It's like imagine dealing with something so stressful, but then you have these other people trying to, they're just trying to fuck with you just to try to get any response that they can out of you, and like just keep badgering you, and like that's what was going on there, and it really sucked, because again, like I said before, like people don't care that she did give consent, that she like, just because she playfully said no twice, that like no, and then said yes, and then again, I'm gonna have to make sure you understand this, that I left the room, and like this, like it was like 5 minutes passed, and I came back 5-10 minutes, and I came back, and she asked, "You can still go, right?" So it's like, like what do you want to look at, the yeses or the nos? Like, because it doesn't, like if when someone says yes, that's a yes. I don't know what to say, and people kept badgering me, trying to make me think that I did something wrong, and it's just like, the only thing that I wish I did is I wish I paid attention more to the level of like fuckery that was going on around me. I kept seeing people saying that she was an asshole and a piece of shit in the chat, and to kick her, that people kept saying to get rid of her and everything like that. And this was when she was in the, like, I remember there was one stream, it was so bad, and she started to get so upset because the chat hated her, and like I should have seen right through it. You know what I mean? Everybody else could see it, but me, that she was going to do something.
So you don't believe you did anything wrong?
No.
Okay.
No. And I know no one wants to, I know nobody wants to hear that. And the only thing that I wish I did is I wish I looked back. I wish I looked through people's social media more back then. Like, I wish I did, like, now it's a little different when I fucking meet new people. I go through everything. Like, before I might possibly meet them, I need to go through the social media. Like, I do a checklist, Twitter, Facebook, all that shit, Instagram. And it's just, it makes sense to do that. It's more logical. And I don't know. I wish I took more time, looking into her. That's what I wish I did.
All right, well, let's move on from Amber. This next one is just a short one. I just want to wrap up this thing for anyone watching's sake, because I haven't addressed this in my videos. And it's just briefly about the Maxi situation. I know you've since apologized for that whole situation where you interviewed her stalker, but I just want to ask you if you still feel that way and that you regret interviewing that person.
I do. I regret interviewing that person, but you know what sucks about Maxi is that, like, she doesn't take accountability for anything that she's done either. In that situation, she literally sent me pictures of my child and, different situations, and saying, like, it would suck if the public would get this or that, like trying to, blackmail me into not talking about her or whatever, when I ultimately had no intention of talking about her anyways. But you know, and I did genuinely feel bad about talking about it. It's just, I don't know. I guess she thought I was just lying or gonna talk about it more, but whatever. That's that situation. It's I don't know. It is what it is. But she seems to keep bringing it up over and over, and I don't know. It's like the same thing with Tush. Like it doesn't matter if I apologize or not. They just they feel they're gonna the next time anybody has a problem with me, all of a sudden they're hurt again, and it starts up again.
That's all I wanted to ask about Maxi. I can move on from that now. I want to ask you, I and many others have accused you of abusing the copyright system here on YouTube. Do you acknowledge that you have at times used the system in a way that it's not intended to be used?
Look, I don't feel as though like I abused it, but you know what I think, I looking back, I just wish people would stop trying to take the shit that happened in that stream out of context. 'Cause that's the literally only time that I ever really try to take a clip down. I don't really care about other shit. That bothers me, because people never want to tell that story as a whole. Like if you came to me originally and you wanted to talk to me about it, and you came to me the way you are right now, I would have talked to you. You know, and like it's like it doesn't. People don't need to use that as a way to try to like make me seem like a piece of shit, you know, and it's really frustrating, and that keeps happening.
Okay, I get all that's frustrating, but the question was, obviously, the way when you've claimed videos, for example, you claimed my video, you filed a strike against my video that used that clip. You might not have liked that, but that was fair use.
Wrong. Unless you're not actually using, unless you're not fucking like, as you're reacting to it and everything like that, yeah, I was wrong.
Okay, that's
you're
all I
wanted.
wanted.
You're reacting to it, so I was wrong.
That's all I wanted.
If you're making the video transformative, yes.
I think the proper way to go about it would have been either maybe flag the video for bullying or something if you felt that way, or slander, or you can also go the private means, but the private means probably isn't going to work. I was probably not going to listen, but reporting the video was probably a better way to go about it than try to file a copyright strike. Anyway, that is what it is. That's past. But I want to ask you about something you've not really spoken about much. Last year, there was an incident where you claimed that someone had called the cops or swatted your house. You said someone called the police saying they were going to say that you killed your grandma. You said that your grandma had a stroke over this. Do you still stand by that story?
I never said swatted, and Holly Undead has apologized since saying that, because she said it. She said
just
swatting.
The cop said.
I never said. I know. I never said that. All right. I never said swatting. Just every time that happens, people bring it to another level and they try to make it seem like something it wasn't. And look, it's not something that I talk about because it's something that I can't really talk about publicly anymore. I don't really have the right to. And honestly, can you not bring this up in this video? Like, if you can cut that, I don't really want to talk about that.
So you don't want to give an answer to that?
Yeah, if you can just not.
Okay, we'll move on then.
You know, if you just not bring it up, it's not a good thing to bring up.
The stream where nudes were shown. So the first question is, what made you think that it was okay to show the images that you did?
Like I said, the other day, how the situation played out is that I was getting I remember Tush, like, she was part of the community for like, I don't know, about a year, and she was like she pretty much an admin and everything like that, and we hadn't had any like type of contact like that. She's never done any type of sent any pictures like that, and she was a regular admin mod, and then all of a sudden she started sending pictures out of nowhere, unsolicited and everything like that, and I don't know, it was that, and I heard behind the scenes that she was telling people that I stole nudes from her Snapchat and stuff like that, and So I ended up talking to Mass Babe and a couple different moderators about it, and we thought it was good to prove her wrong, and we thought that was the right move. And I don't, I'm not blaming anybody else because it's nobody else's fault but my own. I should have shown it in a different context, a different way. I should have blacked out the picture, all of it, without like without showing any of the image. I should have just blacked out the whole image and then just shown the text to show that it was definitely sent to me without being solicited or anything like that, because then it would show the whole situation for what it actually was, as opposed to that. Like, what I did is I just used like a fucking like a blur app, and that way, because a lot of people say they don't think it was blurred enough and everything like that, and like it really is subjective, because like I don't know what to say. Like, I use that app and that's just what they blurred, and they, like, I mean, I don't know. That's why it sucks when you see people trying to say that it was revenge porn or this or that, when honestly,
So why do you not think it's revenge porn? Because it was blurred?
Is that like it was
Well,
it was
see,
censored. It was
just about it
saying
being blurred.
like showing a picture. Listen, showing a picture that's censored and showing a picture that's not censored are very, very different things.
Sure, that is true, but it also depends if it's censored properly, and I would argue that they were not censored properly. I mean, you had a picture of one woman who was standing there, and you could see her entire face in the image, and all you had done was put a tiny little blur around the nipple. You could see the rest of the breast, you could see her face, you just couldn't see this little circle in the middle of her breast. That was it.
Again, like I think you might be talking about a lewd that was sent to the Discord.
Well, it wasn't a lewd. There was nipple in the picture. I mean, you could see breast, so it wasn't just a lewd. It was a full-on nude.
I know some of this, like the two pictures that was shown, or the pictures that was shown here, were either unsolicited or sent directly in like the selfies in Discord and everything like that.
Sure, I get that being unsolicited is not great, but that doesn't give you a right to then show them on a stream.
No, but it's just very frustrating when someone's lying and saying one thing when it's not the truth.
Well, yeah, I can understand that.
I should have dealt with that a different way. Like I said, blacked out the whole thing, because people think it was censored enough when that's just what I had at that moment to censor, and I probably I didn't have enough time, and I don't know. It's just I should have sat down and sat with that thought a little bit more than I did, because it came out the wrong way and it came off the wrong way.
So I think you've just answered my next question then, because my next question was basically what's your intention here, because me and many others think that it's quite clear that when you watch this clip of you, there's a lot of anger in your voice. You wanted to intimidate, you maybe even wanted to hurt, you wanted to also clear your name. You can hear a viciousness in your voice, and personally I think it is repulsive. I think it's the worst clip out there is of you. I mean, it is horrible to watch, it's disturbing. So I would ask, what is your intention? I think you've kind of answered that by saying basically you were angry and wanted to clear your name.
Really, I was angry and wanted to clear my name, yeah, and also realize this, that you are aware that literally 12 hours later, she sent pictures again, nude, unsolicited, again, directly to my phone and in the Discord.
Well, yeah, I'm about to get to that. That's a question coming up.
Okay, and what's that question?
Okay, well, we will get there. So, okay, this is this next question. So, do you understand that this did had an impact on some of these people? Sure, not everyone involved was phased. Like you're saying, Tush came back, whatever, she sent pictures. So, okay, maybe she wasn't as phased as Witchy was, or maybe she wasn't as phased as someone else was, but don't you think it's...
Well, Witchy wasn't phased either. She kept coming back. She came back and hung around the community again. She said she wanted to come and hang out again. It was only not cool again once you decided to cover it. This is what keeps happening. Like, I apologize, and then everything's fine, and then once somebody decides to cover it again, they decide to be upset again, and they want to talk again. So instead of just having this be dead, which is fine, tell your story. But like, why am I like? Why are you accepting an apology and being like, hey, all right, we're gonna let this go, when that's not what
my impression has been very different. My impression has been that people have been very upset by this.
You don't know that she was like hanging out in the streams, literally like for a full like.
I know that
before your video came out?
I knew that. But that doesn't mean that someone's not upset.
You don't think that's odd that she was hanging out?
That's not for me to say. I mean, people work in different ways. I don't think it's the most odd thing that I've ever seen. I mean, sure, it's something that I'd maybe ask about. I'd maybe inquire as to, okay, what made you go back there? But it's not something that I think's like a a smoking gun that's telling me, okay, she was just pretending to be upset.
Why did Tush send pictures again? Then it's just
well, what I'd
seems
say
like-
there is that she knew that you weren't going to go back on stream and show them again. That's already past. I mean, she was hurt because you posted her nudes to the world to see.
I don't. Of course, I'm not going to do it. But like, why send them again, knowing, like, I don't want them. I don't want them.
I can't answer that, and that's a question I would ask. I would be interested to hear the answer to that. But I don't think it suddenly means that she wasn't impacted. But yes, I do think it is a question to be asked.
If you talk to people who actually know Tush, you're gonna see a lot of people saying, no, she's not a victim. She instigates all these situations because she does. Just like she called CPS on Demi and everything like that. There's a lot of things that she does. She's destroyed my Discord before. Like there's a pattern of behavior when it comes to Tush, you know, and I know you know that.
Okay, well, I've got one last question in this situation. You later on, after this, like quite a while after, you went on to talk about the Amanda Todd situation and the impact that bullying her and the nudes being shared of hers against her will had on her. Don't you think it's hypocritical for you to talk about that and be judgmental about that after what you did on this other stream and what you put those other girls through?
Wait, what do you think that I said about the Amanda Todd situation?
Well,
like, what like impression are you under?
You were talking about how the Amanda Todd situation was horrible because people had helped share her nudes around and all that sort of stuff. You were relating that also to Mass Babe, but we're keeping her out of this. I'm just saying, you spoke about Amanda Todd and you were trying to be a moral authority there. You were saying how horrible it was and all that sort of stuff. Whereas in reality, you were doing a similar thing, sharing other people's nudes around.
I wasn't really trying to be a moral authority. I was just trying to say that this article existed of like the Mass Babe thing, of the Vice article. It wasn't like I was trying to be like this, you know, on this high ground or anything like that, because people are aware that situation happened, and I've apologized multiple times about that. Like that's not what I was trying to do. So I don't know if like she told you to ask that or something, but trust me, that's not what I was going for. And another thing I want to say about that as well, some people confuse that situation and think that I'm saying that Mass Babe is the reason Amanda Todd has passed. That's not what I was saying. What I'm saying is that at the time, Mass Babe was, I guess, Cody's girlfriend or whatever, or something like that, or something close to a girlfriend. And she did an interview with Enigma Hood, and it looked like they were around. I'm not saying that she was guilty of, you know, the reason why Amanda Todd was bullied, because I don't think that's what it was. People think that Cody may have had something to do with it, but no one's saying that, you know, Mass Babe had something to do with it. You know what I mean?
Well, if that's the case, then why even bring it up?
Some people think that. Well, the reason why I brought it up is because I know Mass Babe told me about it once, and she was telling me about the whole situation and how she had something to do, like, with that and the whole Cody, like, you know, the whole Cody thing and what he had to do with it and stuff. Like, she didn't go crazy into detail, but the reason why I brought that up is I was tired of people harping on things that I don't perceive as being real. And it's just like, you know, like...
So you brought it up because you were angry and you wanted to take revenge on her and make her feel like shit.
Well, it wasn't to get revenge. It was kind of just like, I've had enough of her doing this to me. And I'm going to be real. I've seen you do it as well. So I was just like, you know, I'm just going to, like, show exactly what this is. You know, I'm going to show this situation. Because she clearly doesn't, like, let people know that this was a thing at all, but she knows it is. You led
people.
Told you about it ever?
I know all about it.
No,
I mean, you've led people to believe that.
I've never led anybody to believe that. I would never say that. I would never say, like, oh, Mass Babe's the reason why Amanda Todd, because that's not true.
Then why even bring it up? That's the question. Like, why would you bring it up if Mass Babe never even knew Amanda Todd, yet you brought it up?
Mass Babe, listen, she tries to act like she
wasn't like around for that or had nothing to do with the whole Cody thing, because she was involved with that whole thing. There was a big article written about it. Like,
She
I
did
think
an
Anonymous
interview
even
with
got
him
involved.
afterwards. She never knew Amanda Todd. She didn't know Amanda Todd until Amanda Todd had died. She didn't even know who Amanda Todd was.
I know some people think that she was, and I can't verify any of that stuff.
So then
but
why would you bring
I'm
it
just
up?
I brought up the interview. You know what I mean?
But there was no
Why would I
reason to
bring it
do
up?
that other than for revenge, other than because you were angry.
It wasn't a revenge thing. It was me showing like these things that I thought Mass Babe was involved with. And looking back, I shouldn't have brought up the FBI thing, because I think that stuff that Phoenix said was the reason why she wanted it up. I think you're right. I think her motives were for revenge, and that's not what mine were. And that's why I regret making those videos. I actually took them down because I don't feel good about them anymore. But yeah.
Okay.
Again, well, if you speak to Mass Babe, let her know I'm sorry about that, and I wish I never made them.
Okay, well, I just have a few final questions. There are 4 questions left, and that's it. So, these questions are more about just your general community and your conduct on YouTube. So, the first one is, I and others have continuously accused you of exploiting vulnerable people, namely your fans. People such as Laurie, who's someone who's very insecure, Heaven, who is a old lady. There are many other peoples that have given you money, a lot of money, thanks to you essentially e-begging and playing victim. How do you respond to that?
I don't know what you mean. I'm a streamer. I stream, like, the majority of my channel is like split down the middle between me being a streamer and me being a YouTuber. I stream, so I mean, a large portion of the income that comes through my channel is through donations. So
Okay.
I don't really make that much money off my channel. I only make money really through donations.
Let me
honestly.
elaborate then.
Yeah.
Let me elaborate. So the next question is, you once set up a GoFundMe to pay for legal fees to file lawsuits. You got that money, but where did it go? Did you file lawsuits? We didn't see anything from that. It was never returned. You never spoke about it again.
You understand that I didn't get that much money off that, right?
But still, you didn't use it. What happened to the money? You didn't file the lawsuits. You didn't use it for its intended purpose. And meanwhile, you had told your fans you needed this money.
That's actually not true. And just so you know, I'm not talking about that situation publicly, and I'm not just saying this
I'm not talking
because,
about Harvard.
I'm not talking about that either. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to like things that are actually going on in court or things that I'm attempting to do, I don't really talk about it. And look, you can think that I'm not doing something. That's not true. I am attempting to do something. I am.
Well, just like it's 18 months later or something and nothing's happened, so.
No, it's not 18 months later. Like, right after the situation happened, when she came out to your video and everything like that, it started again. So, you know, if you can understand what I'm saying, do you understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're trying to say. I mean, but take away from the legal fees, take away from the GoFundMe. I mean, back to...
Do you understand there wasn't that much money, right? People always say that, but there's nothing there. There wasn't money to get. Like,
okay.
There wasn't like, oh, like, where is this money? There wasn't money to be like, oh, where did it go? But there wasn't. First of all, like, the money that I needed, I didn't get. So it's like, we're like, oh, where did, like, I didn't actually even get what I needed for that. Like, that's another thing. Like, I'm attempting to do something, but trust me, like, it's going towards that. And I have legal fees for shit, you know, I do.
Well, what about take away the legal fees? Just the general thing. Someone such as Laurie or someone such as Heaven. If
you take away the legal fees, well, we're talking about just the GoFundMe. And people just getting donations for their, just like their shit. That, like, I know for a fact I never took advantage of Laurie. She tries to act like she was, and like, just, I want you to know this. Like, people keep doing this, and I don't even like talking about this because it just makes it worse whenever you do. But whatever. I'm just gonna say it anyways. Like, anytime you mention this, like, it makes it worse. But this is what people do. Like, they'll be your subscriber and they'll be your viewer for a while, and as soon as they find out they don't like you, after they've donated to you, you know what happens? All of a sudden now they don't like you. So you know what they do? They charge back all the things that they donated to you, and fucks your account over. You know how many accounts I've gone through now because of my like streaming in the past year? I've gone through 3 accounts from people charging back shit and saying that they are owed money when they aren't owed any money. You know, like it's in the word donations.
Oh yeah, I get that. But my concern is more.
I know what your concern is, but like once these people say that they're being like taken advantage of or anything like that, like I'm
not even taking people's words. I'm not saying anyone who's saying that they're being taken. I'm just saying in general. Like I don't think you do it as much now. You say you're in recovery. To me, you seem completely sober to me, as you did the other day as well. So I'm not saying you're doing it right now. But in the past, you used to be on streams asking for donations over and over again. You made people feel sorry for you, said, oh, well, this girl's been trying to ruin my life, sexual assault allegations, all the rest of it. People feel sorry for you, and these people tend to be vulnerable people. It tends to be people like Laurie who has no self-esteem, or it's an old lady like Kevin who feels bad because she's just a caring person and stuff like that. And then you go and take that money and you were fueling your addiction with that, and I think that's an issue.
You know how long I relapsed for, right?
How long?
Yeah, it was like I was only like using for like I think it was like close to a month.
Okay. I mean, like there was that time we caught you on microphone talking to your drug dealer as well. I mean, that's.
I don't understand why you'd want that up either. You don't think that's kind of fucked up?
Not really, no.
Like how was that? How is that like a gotcha moment? Like I don't understand. Like I really don't get it. Like why would you want that up? Like,
can I just make it clear? I don't care if you use drugs. I don't care if you're in it. I think good on you. You should be in recovery. You should get clean. My issue lies solely when I see you taking donations and then using that money to fuel whatever habit you have.
The thing is, you don't like you saying that makes no sense. Like you're saying like, oh, like if you get donations, like they're donations. Like what?
Well, yeah, but you're sitting on camera pretending you don't have very much money. Well, maybe you don't have very much money, but you're telling people I don't have much money. You've said there has been a time where you said I need money to pay for my internet bill so I can still stream or do this interview or do this.
Stuff like that. Like when I said that, it was true.
Okay. But meanwhile, there's also other indications that you were using that money for other reasons. I mean, obviously,
on my channel. I don't do that. I don't say things on my channel like if it's not true. Like when I went up to do the streamer house, people were saying like they didn't think I was going to do that. People are even saying that now. They don't think I'm going to go. Like also the giveaways, the makeup giveaways. I did that. You know what I mean? Like I do these things, you know, and when I said I needed money for the internet, that was true. I don't like I said, like the only time I used was for about a month, and it was pretty public. But I don't spend my money on that, you know, especially since like I don't use anymore. So it's frustrating. And like that video, why I get upset about that video is because you're taking somebody essentially at their lowest moment, and you're releasing it for your gain, for you. When nobody needs to know about that at all.
I think, again, I mean, I would normally say that is no one's business, but when you're...
That's my point.
When you're in the business of people donating to you who think they're helping out, you pay your bills and that sort of thing.
I get it. Well, all right, great. You exposed it and people know, and it's already done and I'm clean, so what's the point?
The point was, do you not acknowledge that that's exploiting your fan base?
How is it exploiting my fan base? I don't understand. Like, if you're not using and people should never donate to me ever again. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. Although I would encourage people not to, but that's not my business. But I mean, I'm not even talking about right now. I'm talking about in the past. I'm not saying you're currently doing it. I'm saying in the past.
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
The point was you were exploiting vulnerable people, aka your fans, because a lot of your fan base are vulnerable people.
getting donations isn't exploiting your fans or exploiting your
Well,
your viewer
it's
base.
exploiting their good nature. If they feel sorry for you because you're playing victim and you're playing, oh, feel sorry for me and this woman's trying to ruin my life. And
Playing victim. I wasn't playing victim. I wasn't going through a good time in my life. I don't know how this can't be any clearer to you.
okay, and you capitalized on that by having people feel sorry for you.
I didn't capitalize. No, I didn't. I didn't capitalize off anything. Do you think I make money off that? Or something? Do you think I made money off the Amber Clemens situation? Do you
Well,
think I
yes, you
really
have.
tipped it off?
You have. There have been
No,
people
I
who have
haven't.
donated
No,
to you to
no,
help
no.
with the Amber situation or because they felt sorry for you.
So you think it's been more beneficial to me than negative?
I couldn't say for sure. I feel like it's probably been more negative. You might have grown your channel a lot more without it, but certainly as far as monetary gain goes, you've certainly made money out of it.
How much do you think I've made?
I don't know. I don't know the numbers. You certainly made some money out of it.
Show me a number.
I don't know. I'm not well read enough on numbers to know.
Say that. I mean, shit, dude. You might as well say something.
No, it is a fact that people have donated to you because they felt sorry for you and wanted to help after Amber tried to quote-unquote ruin your life.
They really didn't. There was only literally like maybe 3 people who were interested in helping.
Okay, so there you go. There's
at all.
3 people. You just said they literally didn't, and now you're saying 3, so 3 people.
3 people is my whole fan base. That's me exploiting my
I'm
whole
not saying
fan
your
base
whole
because
fan base.
that somebody helping me or trying to help me in a situation, when someone's falsely accusing me, I shouldn't do that.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you were taking this money after making people feel sorry for you. So people obviously felt sorry for you, and it's people.
Making anybody feel sorry for me. I was talking about what's truly going on in my life.
Okay, and you're then taking that money and, for example, using it for drugs.
And that money didn't go to drugs. It didn't. It really didn't.
Okay. I don't think we're getting anywhere with this, but
I really think you think that, like, everything that I get goes to drugs.
No, I do not think that.
Or everything that I've ever gotten on my channel has gone to drugs.
No, I don't
or that
think
you think
that.
like, or that you think that I benefited off this Amber situation. I haven't.
Well,
at all.
I do believe you have. I believe you have gotten money out of it.
No, it's been. You don't think you know how much money I've lost, or people like you know how many people I could have done things with, or done, like, people have backed out, and there's been a lot of things I've lost because of this.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure you've also lost. I mean, I'm not saying it was all good. I'm saying there's a lot of bad as well.
It's all bad, all of it. As soon as somebody looks up that shit or looks up something like that, it doesn't matter if I was charged or not. Nobody wants to work with it. That's it. It's just how it is. To get like an interview about the situation. That's the only thing that comes out of it. That's it.
Do you think that people not wanting to work with you isn't just that, but it's maybe also just you? I mean, it's like a proven fact that pretty much everyone in your community has left or come back at some point. I mean, you fall out with everyone you've ever worked with.
Look, I don't fall out with everybody I've worked with. That's not true.
Well, the vast majority.
Like, people. No, that's not true.
That is true.
Not all of them. Like, again, like, literally, the whole thing with Minty. By the way, you interviewed her and you said that, like, I was prepping her and stuff. Why would you even, like,
someone sent me a. Someone sent me a screenshot.
Really insulted. She felt really insulted that you, like, tried to make it seem like she's a stupid person and doesn't have any thoughts of her own.
Well, someone sent a screenshot of her in a VC with you for hours prior to her doing the interview with me.
Why do you think? Because we talk every day. That has nothing to do with the interview with you.
Okay.
We talk.
I didn't say that you did coach her. I just said that this was happening. It is a possibility. I didn't say it actually happened.
Yeah, well, why would you do that though?
Because other people were concerned.
Who? And why does it matter that they would be concerned?
It's also a fact as well. I mean, when we did the interview, she didn't really have much of a clue about anything we were talking about. She wasn't well informed in the conversation. I don't even know why you asked her to speak to me in the first place. I mean, you could have asked anyone
because
else.
it was like if you're gonna have somebody who at least like if you're gonna like it's like essentially getting a character reference. You were talking to all these people who were people who've never met me in real life or even anything like that, but were just banned from the community. But all of a sudden they're people who are definitely relevant to the situation when they're not.
But I was trying
who,
to get people who were on your side of the same level.
And I gave you Minty. She actually has met me in person.
She's
We
not
had
on the
a
same
really
side.
good time.
Minty has not been involved with any of the drama on your side at all with anything because she just stayed out of it. I wanted to speak to someone like Heaven who had been there by your side, or someone like Holly who had been there by your side, but you wouldn't let them.
Wait a minute. Holly and Minty are like literally the same thing. Actually, Minty has been more involved. Like, that's what I mean.
Not with drama.
She's not involved with drama because I'm not involved with drama in my actual life. That's the thing.
I'm not talking about your actual life. I was talking about people who have stuck by you and been involved with the drama and spoken out for you on your behalf there.
She has.
Then what? She didn't really have much to say when I asked her about it because she didn't know anything about most things.
Because there isn't much to say.
Well,
that's what I mean.
I could have. There is a lot to say though.
No,
I could speak to Marie, I could speak to Holly, I could speak to Heaven, and they would all have a lot to say. It was just Minty didn't have anything to say.
I would say very much exactly, like, along the same lines as what Minty had to say.
I don't think
a
so.
lot of people... I don't know, man. Obviously, you think that there's something there when there really isn't.
Okay. Well, let me move on then and ask you, do you believe that you are a good person?
Yes.
You do? No doubt in your mind?
100% no. I know I'm a good person.
Okay. Final question then. Do you deserve to be forgiven?
I think so. I mean, I think actually I don't know. I mean, I guess it's up to whoever is watching if that feels good enough to them at that point. I don't know.
So you believe you're a good person?
I don't think I need to be forgiven for like that those accusations, but if people are upset about the pictures, the censored pictures and shit, and anything else they could be upset about besides like those false accusations, if people don't see that I'm trying, I don't know. I am. Hopefully people do see that, because I am actually. I really am, and this is why a lot of times I try not to answer when people go after me about this stuff anymore, because it's just, it's not helpful to keep doing it, you know.
Okay, well that's all the questions I had. If you want to add anything else, feel free to, but that's everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I really think you have this thought of me that I'm much different than what I am.
Well, I mean, if I was to answer the question, I asked you, do you believe you're a good person? You said yes. I mean, if you asked me that question, I'd say no, I don't believe you're a good person, so.
That's what I mean. I think you think that I'm something that I'm not, and it's very strange how you think these things. You know, I really don't. I don't know how you can believe some of these things that people say, man.
Well, I mean, I think just looking at your own actions, your own behaviors, I mean, when people act a certain way, I think that makes them a bad person.
I mean, I've had, like, recently even just had, like, fucking looking through your whole family, and as soon as I find out, I get rid of everything like that, because like stuff like that is unacceptable.
Sure,
like,
and I mean, I'm not saying you're a horrible person every minute of every day. I'm not saying everything you ever do is bad. I'm not saying that, and I appreciate the fact that, okay, you got rid of whatever, and I think that was a good move, and that was a very good move for you to make. But I don't think that suddenly redeems you as a human being and makes you some sort of angel or anything.
I'm not saying I'm an angel. My point is, like, I think you're missing some things, or you're choosing to ignore some.
Well, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree. But I do appreciate you answering these questions finally.
Yeah. Well, if you want to release it, it's up to you, I guess. Just, yeah.
Okay.
I guess have fun with that.
I have made around 20 videos on RealStream News across both of my YouTube channels. Across this channel and my previous channel, Rag Reynolds, I've made about 20 videos on this guy. And I think now it is time for me to come to a close on this subject. I've made it clear since the start that my intentions here with RealStream News was to spread awareness. To bring awareness to this guy's reprehensible actions, or what I believe to be reprehensible actions, and to make sure people know about him. I believe that now, as I bring this video to a close, I have done just that. Numerous, much larger creators than myself have now made videos about RealStream News. That's something that 2 years ago I was desperate to get done. I was contacting creators non-stop 2 years ago, saying, look at this guy, look what's happening here, can you please talk about this? We need to do something here. And people are saying no, 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 until recently. Until recently, people have finally caught on, people have finally decided enough's enough. I've spoken to numerous great creators who have all put together videos about this guy, and honestly, that's all I ever wanted here. So with that said, I now believe that my mission has been accomplished. That is the mission I had since the start. To spread awareness on this subject, to be relentless in reporting on what this guy was doing until the point where it caught on. It looks like it has caught on. So with that, I feel justified in now saying, okay, I'm going to take a step back from this. Because honestly, I am sick to death of the subject. It's exhausting to try and keep up with, honestly. Every time I look on social media, there's something new that he's apparently said or done, and it's hard to keep up with. But I think after this amount of time, and me having done my part, I think it's now time that I step aside. I think it is fair for me to leave this in the hands of other people, other creators, you guys watching this video. If you think there's more that needs to be done, if you think that there's more that needs to be exposed, I encourage you. You do that. Make your own videos. Contact other creators. Contact the relevant people. And make sure that word spreads and keeps spreading so people are aware of who the guy is. Obviously, I just played you that interview I did with him. I think we got some answers that conflict entirely with things he said in the past. I think other answers he gave were actually okay. Has my opinion of him changed after interviewing him? Definitely not. I think the guy is a scumbag. To what degree is he a scumbag? Maybe that's not for me to say, but his patterns of behaviour over the year all point to one conclusion, and that is that no, he's not a good person. Not as far as I'm concerned anyway. But that's just my opinion. And that is why I leave it to you to decide. Because just because I think someone's bad, that doesn't mean you think they're bad. That doesn't mean everyone has to think they're bad. And I would encourage everyone watching this, don't give people a hard time just because they think, oh, RSN is just being judged badly for no reason. People are trying to ruin this man's life. Don't treat those people badly. Don't try and call those people out. Because it's not their fault. People sometimes have differing opinions, and even if it's not just differing opinions, sometimes people are maybe even a bit manipulated or starstruck, or there's lots of reasons as to why people might have a different opinion from you. It doesn't mean that suddenly, oh, they're a sympathizer or they're an enabler or anything like that. So I would encourage you to be careful when engaging with people who are trying to stand up for RSN. Try and be respectful. Because when you're not, that just gives RSN more fuel. It gives him more fuel to the fire so that he can say, look at these horrible people are harassing my fans, harassing me, trying to ruin my life. I think instead we keep the focus. I think what's important is to keep the focus on RSN specifically and RSN's actions. And don't defer to the little community. That is something that has happened over and over again while I've been covering this story. While I've been covering RSN, constantly there was little bits of drama popping up in the community and people would be saying, oh my god, this is happening, this person's doing this, RSN's mod's doing that, RSN's haters doing this. And all the while, RSN's just in the background the attention's being diverted away from him, and now it's on the little community that are all fighting with each other. And I think that takes away from everything that's going on. It takes away attention from what's important here. Anyway, with that said, I thank you all for watching. I encourage you to check out my links in the description down below. And until next time, everyone, my name is Rag Reynolds, and this was Medium Rare.